It's time to gather together. Hi there, I'm Yelta, and I'll be buying the first round while we chat about Final Fantasy XIV. This is episode 202. Hope that you're enjoying us. On the menu tonight, on the impact of novel coronavirus COVID-19 on Final Fantasy XIV service and development. Play free for up to 8 days in the latest free login campaign. Duty commenced episode 39. The Primals, Out of the Shadows, available now. Patch 5.2, Echoes of a Fallen Star site update. Yoshida and Mogi interview Roundup. Letter from the producer live, part 5, 6, 7, 8. Must be 58.
That's it. Got it. You got it.
I got it. But first, let's shoot the shit. What has been going on this week? Or like 2 weeks now, right?
Yeah, well, we paused a little bit. We knew the live letter was on the horizon, so we stopped a little bit and said, hey, maybe some good news will be coming out of that. And we do definitely have some good news coming out of the live letter, so can't wait to talk about that. Exciting stuff. But yeah, in this void since the last episode, I've done a little playing, but not as much 14 as I'd like. I really wanted to just clear some backlog because I'm doing a lot of work from home. I'm still working from home, still on my laptop. We were just talking about how Yelta and I have to, periodically get up off the couch to go shake the mouse to look like we're still available.
Don't tell our secrets.
Sorry. I mean, I work very hard, and then only during my lunch break and after 5 o'clock do I go over to the couch and play video games. But you gotta check turnip prices right when you wake up. Because I don't want to miss the before noon turnip prices, and then it's like, well, I got to do my normal daily.
Gotta get your four fossils.
Right. There's dailies that have to be done on all the video games that I have. So I have to circulate all those dailies, and then when that's over with, and I look up and it's 11 or 11:15, it's like, oh, I got to go wiggle my mouse for another hour until lunch. Then I got to do this again because there's like after 12 turnip prices, and then there's other games that have to be worked on. And then there's definitely that 3 to 4:30 I'm working. I go back and I make a cup of coffee and sit at the laptop, and I go, it's 3:30. Ruby, you have to work.
Something done.
I have to send this email that I've had in a draft since 10:30 this morning. I have to press send on this email. And so that's my life, folks. That's what's happening right now.
Well, I have all that, and then Ulf comes home from work. And then I have to stop and chat with him for a while. And then he comes back to the computer room and starts, playing video games. And I'm like, well, I could play for an hour.
Everybody's got like their COVID thing that keeps them from really focusing in on their quote unquote work. I mean, of course, mine is my 2-year-old who wants to build a car wash out of Mega Blocks every 20 minutes and then immediately destroy the car wash. And then we move on to something else. That really messes up me trying to plant these new shrubs.
Aren't the shrubs great though?
The shrubs are great. So, there's all kinds of things that are happening that's distracting me from work. And 14 is definitely one of those things. Dragon Quest 11 was one of those things, and I finally knocked it out after 147 hours. I have destroyed every last creature on the PS4 version, and then I've come to find out that the Switch version has more optional bosses from different Dragon Quests, and I may have to buy that version at some point and put in another 150 hours. It won't take that long, but, I had to do all the completionist shit, Yelta. I had to get all the mini medals and all the weapons and beat all the quests and all the special quests that were at the end. I had to see what the last boss' true form was like and all that stuff, so... but it was a great ride. But now there's a void, and I was talking to Yelta about, like, what do I fill that game void in? I can't play another JRPG because I just played 150 hours into one, and I thought about Dragon Quest Builders, but I'm playing Animal Crossing, and it's like, well, there is 14. There's a lot of shit to do in 14.
Yeah, Yeah, come farm up a ruby mount for me, because I haven't gotten around to that.
I got to bring that luck back to the ruby mount farms. So yes, that is definitely a thing. And there's lots to do in 14. There's lots more coming. I've heard the groans about what was revealed in the live letter, but I think it's a great thing if you've not experienced Pyros really, I think, and beyond. I think we've got some good news coming. And of course, with every iteration, unless you're the Diadem, it gets better and better each time. So I'm looking forward to what's coming on the horizon and talking about it tonight. So anyway, that's my gaming stuff. I will turn it over to you, Yelta. What did you do the last week and a half?
I actually been playing a lot of 14, but I haven't been playing on my main. I think I talked about this earlier. I've got an alt character that I rolled in 1.0. She's got the legacy tattoo and everything. I don't know why, because literally I rolled her and didn't do anything. So
oh, wow.
Yeah, I thought you actually had to make, because I have another character I did the same thing, and I don't think she has the tattoo, but I don't know. But anyway, at Valentine's Day, I wanted to see the other stories, so I had to get her to level 15 so I could, vote for the other one. So, getting it to 15, I'm like, well, I've kind of done almost everything that's within my power of doing on Yelta. That's not like a super grindy, mining achievement or whatever, So I'm like, okay, I'm going to play this alt. Well, now I'm in Stormblood. So, and that's really, man, when it's a good goddamn thing that when, expansions come out or like patch day, I have the ability to take the time off because I have completely screwed my sleep schedule.
Oh,
I'm like going through the story and one more quest, and I'm just like staying up all night. It's just not good. It's not good, but it's fun. I enjoyed all of A Realm Reborn. Even the slog in between, it had been long enough, and I read every line and watched every cutscene, and then to go through the end of A Realm Reborn into Heavensward, and all of Heavensward I really like. I think Stormblood to me is kind of the weakest one.
Yeah,
but,
agreed.
Yeah, I'm still working through the initial. I think I just hit the Ruby C this morning, so it's going pretty well. I'm enjoying it. It's different. I think it's been long enough. I don't quite remember everything, so that's really good. I'm going through it on Monk, which is not my main, but I also leveled up White Mage. They're both 62. And then at the end of, somewhere in Heavensward, you actually can start Ishgard Reconstruction. So I spent 2 days doing the diadem, chopping stuff down, and crafting stuff up just to get a crafter and a gatherer up to 60 also, but I'm not really in a big hurry. You need something to have some money come in?
Yeah. I was going to say that's nice, too, because then you can do all your melds, because you just have to have that one.
Yeah, yep. I can't repair all my own stuff yet, I don't think. I don't remember. Maybe I just don't have the matter. It's weird. And I'm not playing a Lalafell. She's a Makote. So I actually have boobs. That's kind of interesting to see some of the same. Well, no, it's kind of nice to see the gear on another race. I still, my first and only love is my Lalafell. But it's kind of fun and different to, watch the cutscenes where people aren't looking down on you. Down at you, not maybe on you. But so I've been doing that. I've been playing a little bit of Animal Crossing every day. I like Animal Crossing fine, but it's not, I can't sit there and just keep playing it. I like to get on and do my dailies and that's about it. I did get my museum upgrade. There's a painting in there right now. I went and viewed it this morning. Red's got his little boat.
The treasure trove.
The treasure trove. Went and bought another painting. I don't do any of that. Go to the website and here's how you know the fakes from the real ones. I just like to play the game. So I may have bought a fake. Yeah, I don't do any of that. I don't look up crossbreeding flowers or how to unlock stuff. I've just been playing it.
I find there's a lot more misinformation than true information as I go and look at it. I've seen 2 different configurations of flowers, and I find even with both, I just get random shit when I put stuff next to each other. So, yeah, there's a line that we've drawn in this house, like as far as looking up every furniture or every piece of everything, because I like the act of surprise. I don't want to just go, I need this, and this, and I'm not happy until I get it. And I think by not looking at like the data mine stuff and everything that's available out there, there's still a surprise when, oh, there's an end table that matches this thing? How incredible. There are some stuff I don't want to like waste my time and get frustrated on trying to go around in circles. But like, I think it's neat, especially if you're able to keep the fakes. Is that a thing? Do you get to keep the fake
I don't know.
pictures?
I haven't gotten a fake yet, but I think you used to be able to keep the fakes, right? And like sell
I wouldn't
them
mind
or
having
put them up in
I've
your
seen the
house.
picture of the finger gun samurai.
Yeah, I think you can keep, or I used to be able to keep them, and I think I had even displayed them at my house, but I don't recall for sure.
I would
making up
definitely
memories
want
at this
to,
point.
hang some fake ones up in my house. So it's anything that gets me more furniture. I went hard into the outfits, but I didn't go hard into furniture. I keep everything. I try not to like get rid of it. I have enough storage that I'm okay with it, but I need more furniture is really the bottom line.
Well,
So.
And I don't keep everything because you can go and order it if it's ever been in your inventory and it's not like a special one like Gulliver's or Sahara's, magic wallpapers and stuff. Mm-hmm. You can just go order them again at the ATM. So if you've ever owned that table, I think you can just go order that table.
Right.
So I don't keep all that stuff. But, yeah, I the one thing I wish I had known, I had a really good... I'm one of the only people, I think, in the world who probably doesn't have a wand yet. Because when I had a star shower at my island, Celeste wasn't there. I never found her. And I didn't know you could wish on the stars. And then, the night that our friend Raven had, a really long all-night star shower, I missed her message, so I never went over and did it. And then, again, my sister had, a really long one, and I missed her message and didn't go get it. So I have since met Celeste. I have patterns for wands, but I have never had a shard. So maybe I just missed Celeste that first night, but I didn't know. I even took pictures, I think, and might have even tweeted them. I'm like, this is really cool, with the shooting stars, but I didn't know I could do anything with them. So, and I've just been kind of randomly planting flowers, and my sister's been bringing me. She hit a hybrid island. And that's probably the only reason I have a 3-star island was she's completely filled the front of my island with flowers.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And don't pop balloons over that. If it doesn't have anywhere to go, it just disappears.
It disappears. It's gone.
Yeah. I know your Cinna posted that one day.
Yeah, I don't know if those end up spilling over to the stuff that next day, or if you can use the rescue service to get any of that stuff. But we just don't do it because we don't want to lose any furniture. I'm at this point where it's I need furniture. I don't want to see a present fall into the flowers or into a cliff. Or into the sea.
Yeah, into the water. Yeah. I got a pinball machine. It doesn't really go with my decor.
I got one yesterday, too.
Did you? I thought of you when I got it.
We need to swap. Let's see if you got a different one than I got. Yeah.
I have to open my thing. The opening of your gates is kind of fun. There's not a ton you can do. You can go in and look around, and it sounds like, you water their plants and stuff and buy stuff from their stores, but... there's not a ton of stuff you can do. But one of them is I can, if you don't have that pinball machine, I can pick it up and drop the leaf down. You can pick it up and either keep it or then you can go order your own. I have somebody on my friend list who keeps sending me music every day.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I have a lot of music. So that is pretty cool. I don't know, it's a fun little game. It's cute as hell. And I quite enjoy it. I like collecting. I didn't know if I was going to like the crafting aspect. Because, as you know, did you ever play Pocket Camp?
Mm-mm.
There was crafting, but it was it took real life time. And then I think you could buy with real money stuff to make it go faster or whatever. And I'm oh God, no. But I like and since they give you so much storage, it really makes it bearable. I have so many stacks of sticks, I should just craft stuff up with it and sell it, or just sell the mats, because I have tons and tons of stuff. What else have I think today I played Toontown Rewritten. My sisters were on. My mom saw us on, so she re-downloaded it. So we were running around playing Toontown. I enjoy that game also. It's completely different. It's so weird because it's so old that, like, you don't have parties, but you can do stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you can do, like, raid these little buildings, and you just go with, well, I think there is parties, just not for that. But anyway, you just, like, 4 of you stand in the front door, and the elevator takes you up, and you have to, like, build your party by standing outside the front of the buildings, teaming up with passerbys.
Like the old days.
It's like a way old school, and it feels weird when you're used to party finders and duty finders and whatever. And I know there are groups that they probably have Discords. I know they have websites and they run stuff together. I have thought about getting involved like that. It's just a cute, fun, dumb little game. Oh, and I re-downloaded was it Fallout 76, but I haven't played it again. They added a bunch of new content to that apparently, and I think I heard good things. But I keep getting sucked back into 14.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I'm still enjoying it. I'm still having a good time. I probably should start playing with my actual character in Free Company, but I'm really enjoying going through the storyline, so. All right, that's about it from me. You can shoot the shit with us. Go to the website, www.gtffxiv.com, or email us or tweet at us or whatever. Let us know what you've been up to. First round is news. We have a notice about the impact of novel coronavirus. We got COVID. Everybody has COVID. And,
well, hope not.
No, everybody's affected. How about everybody's affected
right.
by the COVID? So USGP wrote us up a whole big thing about patch 5.25 and how it was largely completed during the 5.2 patch cycle, but it sounds like, everybody being under a state of emergency is slowing them down. Mm-hmm. They're having trouble keeping the schedule. They're probably all having the same problem you and I are.
Well, you're having to do this stuff from home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's one thing to be able to walk over to the cubicle next to you and ask a question. It's another thing to have to be on Jabber or whatever other system that you do, AOL Instant Messenger, who the hell knows. But it's different. It's completely different, and it slows everything down. And that's not to say these guys are trying to play Animal Crossing at the same time. They're doing their job.
Slow though, right? It's just
I mean, it's a little difficult. I'm sure Yoshida puts them to task. I mean, you got to put some results in, and they've got work groups and all that stuff. But let's be honest. 5.3 is not going to come out in the same timeliness that 5.2 did, because 5.2 was already done by the time all this COVID stuff happened. And what they're really saying here is, don't judge 5.25's release as, oh, everything is hunky-dory, 5.3 is going to come out or whatever, it's going to slow us down. Now, here's what's shitty. I think this was a decent patch. It had a lot of crafting and gathering stuff, but if you'll recall, well, let's go back an expansion. 4.1 and 4.3 had major fights, and then 4.5 with the ultimate fights. And 4.5 did not. They put that void in there, right? Another vast wasteland. And this go around, they said, well, you know what? 5.1 and 5.5, we're going to do some big shit for y'all. And 5.3 will be like the public dungeon and, more stuff for us to do. That is different than the ultimate fights. Well, now we're getting this delay into that. So we've got a vast wasteland that they did not expect in the probably most vastiest of wastelands that we could have in this patch cycle. I mean, in this expansion's series of patch cycles. Because this is akin to feeling like we would feel at 5.53 or something like that, 5.55, where we know there's going to be 2 or 3, 4 months of nothing. And this is really more like the Heavensward days or the Shadowbringer, the Stormbringer, whatever it was called. It's that big gap. But this time, I think that the devs they definitely planned for the gap to be kind of in the middle of this expansion, and COVID really fucked them over.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I know there are people, because I'm playing that alt character, and there are people, new people, I think, who are playing. They've even said that they're stuck at home, so they're playing this now. So this vast wasteland's going to seem even worse.
Right.
So they did bullet point 4 different reasons why things are slowed down. One of them is delayed delivery of graphical assets due to the lockdown of cities in East Asia, North America, and Europe. Delayed voice recordings from Europe. Delays in development tracks performed by the Tokyo staff due to work from home, shelter-in-place limitations. Production QA teams operating well below normal capacity due to work from home and shelter-in-place limitations. So pretty much, yeah, it's just slower from home. And what was it supposed to be in mid-June, and it's delayed, and they don't know if the delay is going to be 2 or 3 weeks or closer to a month in this article.
What do you think they'll roll out? Do you think they'll do something to fill the gap, some more itinerant Moogles, bring back some old stuff? I mean, I know we got some things coming that we talked about in the live letter, but we won't have it until 5.3.
I don't know how easy or feasible it is. You know, I'm sure there's legal stuff involved. I don't know how easy it would be to flip the switch and put the Garo stuff back in. Or
right.
Itinerant Moogle would probably be pretty easy. I'm assuming they just generate a list of prizes. They generate a list of where the tomes come from. They could either turn on one of them that already happened, or just roll the dice on, here's the new drops from this stuff. That would help a little bit, probably.
Maybe give us all of the prizes from the past and let us buy all of, so it gives us more shit to do, or a backlog of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. One of the things that a lot of people mentioned itinerant Moogle, as far as, what can we do in this, this what would be easy for them to implement. And in my mind, it'd have to be something they already did. The other one I could think of is a lot of like the crossover events. Mm-hmm. Could they flip the switch and put the 15 event back in? Could they flip the switch and put, the Yokai Watch or the Garo event or the Final Fantasy 11 event?
Yeah.
Could they turn those back on? The Lightning Returns event. There have been a lot of the Dragon Quest event.
Yeah.
We got a lot of people playing. I wouldn't mind if they brought them back. I used to be more, they missed it, too bad, but it's just like, it's been a while enough now that
a big while. For some of those, they only got one shot.
Yeah,
like the Dragon Quest.
So, I think if they could turn some of that stuff on, I don't think you're going to get anything that's new.
Oh,
new is, right? No. New is still, development time or whatever. I could see them deciding pieces of 5.3 already, and maybe rolling them out in smaller sub patches or something. I don't know. It depends on how they do their coding and testing.
Yeah. The only other thing I could see is unless they incentivized some other content, reduced restrictions through some more bonuses into something that's already going right now. But I don't know how much more that's going to entice somebody, to do.
Like halving the currency of something, or or making.
Yeah, or, you go into the Crystal Tower and you get something, or, whatever.
Double light from everything or something.
But that just becomes itinerant Moogle. I mean, you might as well just roll it into that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's too bad. I'm glad they just said something straight out, though.
Right.
And just, just everybody is prepared for this. And I think they talk a little bit more about this in the letter, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so. All right, you can play free for up to 8 days in the latest free campaign. I think it's got a wider time. It's April 14th through May 17th. So it's on now, and you can play up to 8 days worth of hours, I think, right?
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah. Pretty cool. Jump back in it. I think I could probably entice my Cinna to log in. She's been checking the Discord recently. We've got things to talk about in our Discord, so she's been checking in and looking into it. And so she even said something to me today. She's like, I'm going to clean something, or I'm going to deal with something if I log back in. I was like, okay, come on. Come deal with whatever you planned on dealing with. Clean out whatever you planned on cleaning out.
Whatever you think needs doing.
Kick whoever you planned on deciding to kick.
Oh, my Lord. I would demote everybody. No.
Start over, Yelta. Back to the house in Gridania. Just be
Go back
you.
to the
Be you, Kariri. Let's go.
scorched earth.
But you're getting to experience the brand new FC thing by playing the alt.
Yeah.
And you were talking to me earlier, you know, not to tell too much of what you were doing or what you have been working on, but the FC, you're working with a newer FC, and they're like very gung ho. Like
They want to be like and super structured, right?
Right, you were telling me like all these Discord channels with the guides and all this cool stuff that, like, I remember the time getting that engine account set up and like, all right, we're going to have this forum and this one. We're going to put the crafting and gathering. And now it's like a couple of pinned shit in the Discord channel. And
I actually, Ruby, I still go to the engine site and I still post my guides there because that's easier to find than pins to me.
It honestly is. I went back there and I looked up some stuff the other day because I knew I had some macro guides there, and I was taking a look at it. Yeah, I mean, it's good to have those message boards, and I guess that's what we should have had out of the whatever they put for us in game, right? We have the that little make a poll sort of.
Oh, the fellowships.
Fellowships, yeah.
Yeah, those are weird.
Those are weird. All right.
All right, we got Duty Commenced episode 39. I was even home. They were even on Excalibur, I think, and I didn't go do this.
Yeah, this is like, I wouldn't have participated probably, but as far as watching it, there's no excuse for us not to watch it yet. Somehow I managed to only catch like the last 5 minutes, because God knows I'm at home trying to avoid doing work, especially on a Friday. Come on, it almost is Saturday when you work from home, and it's Friday. It's fucking Friday.
You're not wearing pants anyway.
No. You know, Mondays, I actually put on a shirt and some blue jeans because I have good intentions. But by Friday, it's the only reason I have pants on is because there's a mirror in my living room. And when I take that video call, God forbid I have to get up for anything and you see my bare ass cheeks or something. You know, I'm not going to be Jennifer from the Zoom video or whatever. So, I caught a little bit of this. They were doing, I think it was experts. They did the first couple of experts.
No, they did Edens versus Savage was what they were going to do.
Or Savage is what I meant, not
yeah,
expert.
I've only done the first one, so I wasn't going to go anyway.
I see a lot of in and out, which is, always my favorite. But I mean, it looks like a good time, but again, you've got people working from home, so it's basically Aya and the voices of the others, which Aya does great streams. She has an amazing streaming setup. But everybody's still kind of doing their own separate thing from their separate homes because we're social distancing right now.
All right. The Primals, Out of the Shadows, is available now. This is, I think it's just 4 songs. Mm-hmm.
There's 4 songs, and I don't think they're good. I'm going to just go ahead and throw that out there.
You're not the first one I've heard that from. People are like, I'm not a fan. Uh-huh. Which is too bad, because I really I wonder if maybe these songs are too good to be fucked with, or something.
Possibly. I think you have to. You can take any song and rearrange it, and it's music. But I think some songs lend themselves to styles, and some songs just don't work in certain styles. Going through the 4 tracks, the first 2 are basically what they are. The first one is like I think it's the new fight music, the new boss music, and it's fine. And then the second one is Ultima, and we've all heard that because of the Ultimate fight. But Blinding Indigo is Leviathan, and it sounds like Leviathan. It doesn't sound as much like the new Leviathan as it does like the old Leviathan, and I think it's because the vocals are they're very strong in this. Like you hear that over the music very easily, and it just feels a little off. But the worst is what Angel Wakes Me. It's the Titania fight, and that one is just so cute and beautiful in its normal original. And this is like, I have an issue when the lyrics that are done in English are sang by a non-English speaker, and I don't feel like the enunciation of words is where I want it to be. That's a personal problem. Mm-hmm. I've talked about it before, but that's part of the issue for me with this. And then the male vocals with what I have been accustomed to, a female vocal song. And it's just, ultimately, those two things are not as big of a deal as it just doesn't have the right, like, cadence or the right style. It just sounds like somebody's going, come on down the trees, with me. It sounds so flat. It just doesn't have any, like, pizzazz to me. It just doesn't feel like the original. And I don't really care for it so much. So this is a don't buy from me. If you had a thought, I don't think this is a great buy unless you're going to get some perk. I know that, okay, so the CD purchase is available. I've got it digitally. CD purchase is available. It's $20. And I'm not seeing anything that says, like, you get anything out of it. I honestly think something like this should not be released on CD. I think they should do this as a cut on iTunes or whatever digital streaming service, digital music service, and then do another one of these, Out of the Shadows 2, and then do a compilation like, hey, you can buy the whole thing for $25, you know, and we put a minion in it. But I don't think this is a good buy, Yelta.
Yeah, I'm probably going to give that one a pass. I don't know. All right, patch 5.2 Echoes of a Fallen Star site is updated. They really just added a couple of images. They put in a picture of Varus. They put in, I don't know, there was like one other picture in here. I'd have to find it again.
It's like, click on the green dots.
Two pictures of Varus. Yeah. Scroll around for a while. Yeah, that's really all it is. But that was kind of a spoiler, so I can see why they didn't put it on there before. For sure. At least we get some good pictures here of that badass shield. I know, right? It's kind of cool looking.
That's, it's kind of a Riditon, if we can remember our old friend, the Rogadin Riditon from 2.0. So he had some cool shit like that, and so that's pretty nice. We dedicated last episode to Varus's legs in the title. It's just he looked like Humpty Dumpty in that cutscene.
Oh wow! Have you done that fight?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Did you do the extreme fight? I can't remember.
No, I haven't done the extreme fight.
Oh, okay.
No. I need to do that. I know you guys ran it.
I
last
cleared
week.
it once, and then I was like, okay, that's enough for me.
That's plenty.
I should go back and do it because I do want like at least one set of gear. But
yeah,
I wasn't in any hurry, I guess.
We have time, apparently.
I don't know, was there anything else on that site? I think that was it.
Yeah, that's just... They're running out of shit to put on the patch 5.2 side.
All right, then we have a bunch of interviews rounded up. I don't know, I can't speak good English. Yeah, we covered one of these last week, I think. The Final Fantasy XIV Reddit community one, was it? Yeah. So we covered that one, but we've got one from Gamerscape, Silicon Era, Massively Overpowered, Twinfinite, US Gamer, and Gemetsu. I have not really scrolled through any of these, so we can just kind of grab them as I'm just going to open up the first one.
Cool.
I actually did peek at this a little bit. Gamerscape also seems to be kind of confused on what fellowships are or for, because they're like, currently the in-game, we have several different types of social tools, free companies, link shells, and now fellowships. What led to creating fellowships as a separate system versus integrating those features into free companies or link shells? Yoshi P says, fellowships serve as a sort of role-play mechanism, and we implemented them as a system without limitations to how it should be used so players can casually come together as a group. The team wanted it just to be able to make community groups for groups of people who like TV dramas or like love novels, or for people who live in the same region. And they wanted to do all of that without a chat function. So he says, though, if he'd integrated fellowships with the pre-existing link shell or free company systems, it would have inevitably been impacted by these existing communities. They intentionally designed fellowships in a way to separate it from the other two and let it grow as a unique system. I still to this day.
Is it growing?
I don't. Okay, it helps that now you do get a little ding when someone updates it.
Okay.
But yeah, I still don't understand fellowships and how we're supposed to use them.
Community groups. I think you just have to define community group. Like, I get they're defining it here as love TV dramas and love novels, and I mean, sure, I can make a community group for those that like model airplanes, but
what are you going to do with it in game? And you can't chat. So
yeah, how do I bring that into the game? Let me bring my other hobbies into Final Fantasy IV. Like, I want to use it for Final Fantasy XIV stuff. Maybe even an RP group. Like, I get that. If you're an RP model airplane Final Fantasy XIV group, yes, I can see it working for fellowships. But what about the rest of us that aren't RPing? Give some real world examples of that. I just can't talk about, I don't know. I was trying to think of an author, but I couldn't think of one because I don't read enough. But, just having a book club, I just can't imagine that, using fellowships for that.
Yeah, I don't really understand. I have seen it used to, like, organize hunts.
There you go. I get that.
Yeah, I have seen, because, like, they'll post when we're going to do the next hunt train. I do like the polling system. The
polling seems right. Like, okay, do we want to have a map party in this day? But we get a lot of that out of the Discord as well. Unless you don't have those people on your Discord, which seems kind of odd too. Like if they're already in your free company or already in a cross-world link shell, they probably, unless you're just not proactive with it, probably already in some kind of communication through a Discord or some sort of voice chat or some other message board. I just find it hard to believe that you would only use fellowships for this. Now, fellowships could be tied in some way to Discord or tie it into the phone app, and the phone app had some sort of capability that was like, maybe. It's just you've got all these disjointed programs and features, and to me, they don't link up in a meaningful way. And I also feel like it's par for the course for this production team because they will make a form of content that doesn't seem to link up with some other things, and you just feel like, why? Like, why do they have the minion shit in the gold saucer that doesn't have any meaning anywhere else in the game? Or Chocobo Racing doesn't have any meaning anywhere else in the game. I would like to see...
breeding doesn't have any, right?
Right. That doesn't make sense. It should have some meaning somewhere else, a connection somewhere else in the game. So those are other issues. But I just think, like, you've got a phone app that really, I don't understand what to do with it. I'm not going to be perusing. The items aren't that hot that I have to be on that message, on that phone app while I'm at work going, please, God, let me get that glamour or that set of iron ingots or something out from underneath someone else, I'd be more like, I need to check the turnip prices twice a day. Maybe if they had something like that, like something changed twice a day and you had to check it and jump on it. But then they would say, oh, this is unfair. Part of the player base can't play until noon, so that's unfair to other people. So I don't know, man. I could talk myself into circles with this kind of shit. But I'm just saying, like, there needs to be some sort of integration with fellowships with something else to give it some other meaningful action. Otherwise, to me, it's hunts. It's the same shit, Yelta. It's hunts, it's maps, and I guess talking about your favorite manga. I don't know what else.
Without a chat.
Without a chat feature, yeah.
Well, I mean, you can put little messages in there, but...
Is there emojis? I mean,
yeah, there's little smiley faces and frowny faces.
Well, thank
and
God.
Stuff. Yeah.
Well, that's one thing they do, right? Instead of being able to talk in PvP, give everybody emojis or something.
Oh, no. Let's not talk about player mods. We're going to just scroll right past that one.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Good idea.
I did want to bring up this one quick. With the streamlining of the 2.0 MSQ, will there be any change to the main scenario roulette dungeons? So Castor Meridianum and the Praetorium. And they don't plan on making changes at the moment. They'd like to revisit the overall design of dungeons sometime in the future, but they haven't had the time to get to it yet.
Maybe they got the time now. Start looking at it now when you got that extra month doing nothing. Man. Get off of Animal Crossing and fix those. I can't wait to talk about the 2.0 changes here shortly. That's going to be good.
Oh, they ask a question about dialogue options and whether or not our answers are canonical. And the answer is not really.
I guess they're not going to care that much about what the official... It's not so lore specific that it's going to change the course of history with option. I guess you look at it from a time traveler's point of view. Does it matter if the Doctor does it this way or the other way. The course of history is going to be the same, so it doesn't really matter.
And I think they're speaking specifically here, they use the Qatari tribe.
Right.
If you've done those Beast Tribe quests, you know you get to kind of pick their history. And that means they can't actually put that in the Encyclopedia Eorzea because, you know, there's two versions. You can't put that in there.
They will, Yelta, but they'll put some shrouded in mystery. It is unclear whether the Qatari did this or the other.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. Ocean fishing's different than everything else. Are you going to do anything like it? And the answer is yes, but he's not going to spill the beans. And he doesn't think Blitzball is going to work in the game very well.
Oh, where's the snowboarding? Where's our Final Fantasy VII remake snowboarding? Well, I guess we don't have Gold Saucer yet. Maybe, Yelta, they can time that shit up. Because
the Gold Saucer and 7
Gold Saucer coming back in the... We don't know. I mean, I'm not quite sure what'll be in the second one, but I imagine Gold Saucer, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump away from Costa del Sol, right? So we'll hopefully get the Gold Saucer, and then we can talk about a crossover. We can get that snowboarding.
I've been pretty surprised there hasn't already been a crossover. I don't know. Maybe they're lining it up with some other part of the release, because
I guess.
I don't know.
I mean, we know we're not getting the PSO2 thing over here because they had that there, and PSO2 is just not going to resonate here. So I think there's an opportunity for it, unless they're just like, fuck a crossover. We've just got so much content within 14 ourselves. We just want to focus on that. And I feel like I had read something. Maybe we even talked about that with the PSO2 stuff. Like they were like, we've just got plenty to do. So, but I would just think 7 remake is something they'd want to push, even though we've had some 7 stuff before. You know, from the most recent Fanfests, we got. Was it the most recent? Yeah,
one of them. We got
one
minions.
of them. We got the minions and all that. So, you know, hey, bring those rewards back. I guess they're selling them. You can't bring that back as a reward if you're selling them. Anyway, do it, Yoshida. Make it work.
I don't know. The rest of the questions here are pretty easy. Gamerscape wanted to know what Mogi's favorite memory during Shadowbringers, making a character, I guess. It was a plus-size Makote, even though he didn't know anything about the main scenario. And creating a character with a unique and distinctive body shape was fun. That was cool. I don't know.
I'd like to have seen more fat men, if I can say it like that.
Yeah, I was actually surprised, because even, like... Aside from that, her character itself, there are NPCs that appear and walk around in Ilmor, but I never saw any
They're all
fat
Mikote
guys.
women. And I get that the Mikote, the reason was because that's who predominantly had lived in the area, and they were, living the high life. But why is it just the chicks? Why not the dudes?
Well, the one cutscene did have fat males, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. When you watch the opening, it's
not
only
in game.
It's only some big-bodied men eating grapes up there, and grapes ain't going to make you fat. We got to do better than grapes. You'd have to eat a shit ton of grapes to make you fat. So I want to see some big boys coming up.
All right, and then they were asked what were some of the unique challenges that Shadowbringer brought. And Mogi says one challenge was how to express that it was a different world opposed to the world the players were already familiar with. How to depict a night sky without night. And one so bright it appears to have a haliation effect. I don't know that word. How should I represent primals that previously appear on the source but also exist and, blah, blah, blah. The world setting and premise were very important. And he hoped it resonated with the players as a world. And the development team was very particular about the details. I thought the whole world of the first was amazing. So
yes,
I think
agreed.
He hit that one out of the park. And then he was asked, each area in the game has its own unique identity or theme, landscapes, music, and gear that comes from it. What has been your favorite sort of aesthetic to work on, and is there another you wish you could do that you haven't done yet? Mogi says that the first Bard artifact armor in 14, he believes it's a design that embodies Amano's design depictions and concept very well. And he'd love to revamp the design with our current graphics. In terms of elements that they've worked on, his favorite would be the Dark Knight's Deathbringer, and when it comes to weapons, and I don't remember how you say his name.
Cuchulainn.
For monsters. I think I'd love to try and design something uniquely un-Final Fantasy someday.
Oh. I wonder what that would be like.
I don't know.
Good interview. Gamerscape, I haven't read through all of the interviews, but Gamerscape, I think, probably has the better interview of all of these as I'm perusing. And Gamerscape typically has the best interviews when we go and read interviews. So thank you, Fusion X and the Gamerscape team, for that amazing interview.
All right. I did scan through the Silicon Arrow one, but it's basically understanding through Almitsek and good versus evil, and I think we've covered a lot of this stuff already. This
one is relatively short. I guess we can let the listeners read this one for themselves. It's only about 5 questions, and the responses aren't that vast. So I guess we can let you do the reading for yourselves, unless there's something that just is jumping out. We want to cover that, Yelta.
I think I'm good. I think it's kind of some stuff we've talked about before. What's the massively overpowered one got on it? I haven't read any of these.
Yeah, the massively overpowered, I'm skimming this one currently. That's our next one. Here's a good question at the top. Now that all the community design contest gear sets are in the game, how difficult was it to adapt these sets from concept drawings to full sets across all roles? Do you think we'll see more contests of this type down the road? And Mogi says, luckily, since the overall direction of the concept is already established from the entry, the work to create the sets is not very hard. We do our best to maintain the positive aspects and impression of the contestants' designs. Adapting the gear for other roles works the same way as our typical development process, so once we decide on one design, the rest falls smoothly into place. These community events allow for us to connect with the players in the real world, so I would love for more of these contests to happen. Basically saying, yeah, make the designs for us and we give us the easy part where we just implement them into the game. Unless you're headgear for Hrothgar or Viera, then you are impossible to create.
Yeah.
Oh, well, great.
So yeah, they're talking about how Hrothgar and Viera were unveiled, and player feedback would be taken into consideration. Regarding the gender restrictions on these races, are you able to speak about the feedback that's been received at this point? I could guess without even reading, but Yoshi P says, we have received feedback which of course includes players disappointed by the gender locked. That being said, it wasn't like I went in and intentionally locked these. However, as mentioned during our fan festivals via the live letter streams, adding a new race is an incredibly massive undertaking, affects all subsequent patches. After a huge amount of deliberation, we've decided to implement the highly requested Viera and a beast-like race the dev team wanted to implement, which is the Hrothgar. He's aware that the desire to include a different gender of each of those races, but afraid this feedback is not something they can easily incorporate. They're doing their best, but that's about all they can say right now. It's the same thing they've been saying for months.
Sure.
Yeah,
nothing is new here. New. It's almost like they just kind of kick this can down the road, and I guess at some point they're going to come out and say, we did it. We've got full headgear for Viera and Hrothgar, and everybody's going to act like they're the saviors of the universe because they fixed one problem instead of the entire thing. And then I guess maybe in 7.0 they'll go, we have the genders, the other genders, and everybody will treat them like heroes. I think before we'll ever see another gender or the opposite gender for these two races, we'll have that additional healer that they're supposed to be balancing all the healers on.
At least I'm not bitter.
Oh, God. I mean, we still got that to go back through, Yelta. I mean, when we've been talking a lot about Hrothgar and Viera hairs and headpieces and the gender stuff that I feel like we have forgotten that people are mad that we don't have another healer and they can't balance the healers the way they want. We need to come back full circle, and I'm sure we will as we get near the end of the 5.x cycle. We still have a few patches to go, but as we get closer to whatever 6.0 will be, I am sure we will hear the buzz about healers before terribly long. But right now, it's still ranged sucks. We need to increase range DPS and nerf summoners, I guess, and also, where is my headgear? Where are my gender swaps?
The next one's interesting. With patch 5.2, we were informed that we would only be getting a single dungeon during even-numbered patches, which seems to imply that the hard dungeons generally added during the even number patches would be cut. Will we ever see these hard mode dungeons return, or is that not currently in planning? Yoshi says you are correct that we have cut the implementation of the hard versions of previously released dungeons. We currently have no plans to bring that back, and we're taking those resources to work on other new kinds of content. The resources don't necessarily match up one-to-one, but because we have this concept of reallocating our resources to other tasks, we can have things like an additional trial in patch 5.25. I hope players will think of this as a trade-off instead of a loss. In exchange for the dungeon, they will be able to experience other content we'll be announcing soon. Do they have another content type that's coming, is what they keep trying to say here?
Well, they keep trying to say that, but then they pivot into things like having, more in exchange for the dungeon, be able to experience other content that will be able, like the EX fights or whatever. Like, I get that, but dungeon is different. It's different. A dungeon's
different than another boss in the middle of an arena. I don't know.
Right? Yeah, I just feel like having an additional trial. Yeah, that's great. I would. More trials the merrier. If you want to throw more trials at us, that's great. But it seems wildly unbalanced if everything in this game is just stand in a circle or a square, maybe get knocked off the arena or don't get knocked off the arena, and do this jump rope.
I think there is even a rectangle one.
Oh, yeah, we've got a rectangle. So, sorry, Yoshida. But these are the kind of things, like, people will get burnt out on just jump rope fights. And you're already seeing burnout from just jump rope fights. So there's got to be something different. I don't remember what Cinna and I were watching, some stream of some game. And it might have been WoW. It might have been something else, a different MMO. It might have been a different game completely, where it was people reacting to status debuffs or something on their character. Okay. And I'm not sure. I haven't healed in a while, Yelta, but I don't know how often you have to Asuna a random thing that goes out, or how much now it's, we know that when this cast bar comes, this thing's going to go out and I have to Asuna it off. There's a difference between those two things. There's a difference between one person out of this 8, when this thing happens, may get Allegan Rot or something, or 2 people either get confused, or one person gets confused and the other one gets a poison and something. But it's less reactionary, more, I know that after this thing spins in a circle, that this thing is going to cast, and both healers are going to get this thing, and I have to Asuna one of the healers. That's scripted versus reactionary, and I'm afraid it's all the changes that make things less reactionary. You might as well program into a bot how to do the dance, and that was an issue, wasn't it? You basically had the bot that told you how to do the dance and could basically do the dance for you, and we had more changes done to the way fights were, and other things that came about, like not being able to put the markers down, mid-fight, right, and all that without the macro. So, yeah, it goes back to that argument of Yoshida seems to change things to counter the exploits or whatever that players seem to find, but I think if they gave more engaging content, then maybe players wouldn't have to just result to programming a bot to do the jump rope mechanic. I don't know. I just want to see something different than stand in a circle, a rectangle, or a square and bash at this scripted fight.
Yep, no, for sure. Well, and even dungeons now, I mean, like I said, I'm playing that alt, and every dungeon I've done, stuff that used to be even like, it would take 20 minutes to get through the dungeon. Stuff doesn't hurt. And I'm not even over-geared for it at this point. I thought I was over-geared on Yelta, and that's why I was able to stand in the bad or just, DPS so much or whatever. But yeah. I don't know what's different. I don't know if it's the reshuffling of all of our abilities or if they did nerf stuff. But running through dungeons, it is hard to wipe. It's hard to even let somebody die.
Yeah.
I don't know what dungeons are supposed to be. I mean, they're vehicles for story, for sure.
Right.
And places to grind up tomes, but they're certainly not anything that is supposed to have any sort of teeth.
No. And I think you just basically hit the nail on the head with those two things. It's a vehicle for story because we're always going to have the Scions act as our trust party through these things, so we know it's going to be tied in some way to the story. And we know it's that one tried and true way. You do your expert, you get your tomes, and you're in and out in 25 minutes or so, maybe 20, and that's it. So it's just one other vehicle, but it lost that charm of being something new or what's down this corridor or whatever. And that's the part I would like back. If they're going to do a content, I know we'll talk about it when we get to the live letter here shortly, but if we're talking about some content other than what they're proposing to us, which is, to me, is more relic type things, where is that 1.0 type dungeon that has alternate bosses maybe, and you only have 20 minutes to do it, and you have to go down one corridor, and once you go down one, you don't see the other, so maybe there's treasure down this one and other treasure down a different one. We got to go down different paths and throw the timer into it. You get different stuff for finishing it up. I mean, just mix it up, make some wild things, and let's see how we do with it. But I gotta have something different, and it's got to be something dungeony. I want to feel a little sense of exploration. I want to go down a corridor and maybe randomly it's a different type of mob than what I was expecting around that corridor. So we go back to that random topic, right? Like, if there's something random.
We go back to that a lot. But again, so much of the player base whines if you even stop to read a note.
Sure. So
I don't know. I'm worried that the player base for this game wouldn't be able to handle it anyway. I don't know. They want to get in and out as fast as humanly possible. Dungeons aren't experiences. They're just, I don't know, tunnels.
Yeah.
They also asked the question about the Qatari beast tribes, and there's two different readings of history, and they basically just said neither one of those is really canon.
Yep.
They talked about how the spread of COVID-19 might affect Final Fantasy Fan Festival in San Diego. They recognize it's an unprecedented disaster. It's not fitting to speculate how far the disease may spread or how soon the situation will settle down. It sounds like they're going to do a wait and see.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this article or this interview was done April 7th. We are recording on the 25th. So we've had a couple of weeks. Some countries have had lower cases. Some have had spikes. I still think it's too soon because I even think here in the U.S. they're saying, May 15th or 12th or something, for more reevaluation. So, I mean, we probably still another couple of weeks, a few weeks before really going what are we doing? And that's just this country. So it's really hard to say where it's going to be. I think a lot of people thought that the live letter would have some sort of we're canceling Fanfest, but we didn't really see that.
Yeah, with Fanfest being, November?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a ways away. I know things are already getting canceled for August and stuff, but I could definitely see the wait and see. I don't know what's going to happen. No one does, and that's kind of the problem. So anyway, that was basically that interview. I haven't looked at any of the other interviews.
I looked a little bit at Twinfinite. We can blaze through a little bit of these. I looked at Twinfinite. This is Giuseppe Nelva. Follow him on Twitter. It's got some pretty good stuff, and he's asking the COVID questions. Is this going to affect the development team? We already kind of know it's going to put a delay on stuff moving forward, but they're prioritizing health over the schedule, and so I hope everybody recognizes that. They ask... Save the Queen, Blades of Gunhildr, likely a short-term feature I'm excited about, but also scared. Similar features in the past have been a bit on the grindy side of things. While I understand a certain amount of grind is necessary for this kind of feature, are you going to take a different approach this time, or is it similar in grind requirements? As mentioned in patch 5.2 and the live streams, the Save the Queen content in 5.25 should not feel like time to win content where you must put in many hours. You should be able to obtain the first weapon just by enjoying the quest storyline. That's true. It's very easy. Now when it comes to enhancing the weapon, a bit more work will be required. It's still much less demanding when compared to past equipment enhancement quests. The next chapter in 5.35 will feature new ways to enhance your equipment, but players will have different options on how to strengthen their weapon, We hope this will create a weapon enhancement process that is more casually accessible. Please look forward to it. Does that mean light? We've seen that before, where we just get to go into other content and do light. And I think that we felt like that was sort of missing from the last relic, where you had to go into the zones to get light or do any of the relic grind. So it'd be nice to be able to get a little bit on the side in outside content.
Mm-hmm.
We'll
yeah,
see.
pretty much I think the whole relic was locked in Eureka. Even the grinding a bar, cashing it out on crystals was all in there. Which I didn't personally mind. I liked it, but if you could make, different avenues of working on your weapon available, I think that's great.
Mm-hmm. Next question, and I'll cover a little of this in the live letter, is getting through the game can be a long process for new players. Boost items help. Skipping can help, but how are you tackling the issue? And they don't really go into the stuff that they're changing for 2.0, but we'll look at that soon here. But he says that they'll be working to implement systems that will allow them to look back on what a player may have missed when they find the time to do so. I believe enjoying this, Yoshida. I believe enjoying what you can when you can is what our current lifestyle has become. Pricing is, well, So it's kind of about like how do you quantify, I guess, or how do you price getting people through that content? They're constantly selling that stuff through the Mog Station, and I don't have a problem with it personally. At this point there is a lot of content to go through. I don't find that those players that are lacking in skill are necessarily because they jumped or story potioned. I think any good MMO player or somebody that's familiar with playing an MMO, jumping and story jumping and job jumping is not going to affect them. They're going to go, where's my mitigation? Where's my heals? Where's my strong DPS combo? Whatever, because they're going to know how to play. It's your traditional Final Fantasy. Oh, I love 10 because Tidus has great hair. That it's those players that are going to be like, so which one is the cure? So which one is the Phoenix down? Like, it's not because of jump potions. That's my 2 cents on it.
I do know people get really confused. They've used the story skips, and then they don't know what the hell's going on or how to do anything.
I can see that.
Really, that one's pretty.
If you use the story skip, you probably aren't playing for the lore, or you're on an alt.
No.
Yeah.
Yep.
Next question. With every release, the scope of the story has increased more and more. We've saved Eorzea. Now Warriors of Light and Darkness became saviors on a cosmic level. Have you thought about possible diminishing returns in the story, with our character becoming so overpowered that the story loses impact at some point? If yes, do you have any ideas how to counter this? First of all, Yoshida says, I want you to feel assured there will be another adventure that awaits you. I don't intend to expand even further than that, but will once again focus on creating something for the sake of being able to enjoy the journey and the adventure. Stay tuned for any updates that we may have down the road. Well, that was a nothing burger. I was kind of hoping maybe it had something.
Yeah, I expected a little bit, at least to be like, yeah, we know what you're saying.
There will be another adventure that awaits you. I mean, that could be completely generic statement, or that could basically mean, like, we're shutting the door on all this, Heidelin versus shit, and we've got another epic tale of dragons or something to tell you later on. You think we'll go back to I feel like we'll go back to dragons.
I think the dragons are there's still a thread there of dragons and a history of dragons, and there's still,
Yeah, we still got Tiamat on the island. Mm-hmm. She's just kind of chained up of her own.
I mean, they might not do anything with her, but I always wish they would.
I wish they would too. Plus, we need some Azazla love.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God. Let me skip to this one about Phil Spencer, and then I'm kind of done with this one. A couple of months ago, Phil Spencer promised during a press event that he'll help bring Final Fantasy XIV to Xbox One. Has there been any progress on that front? Would you be willing to put the game on Xbox Game Pass? Yoshida, I haven't really considered releasing 14 on Game Pass. This is because 14 itself is a subscription model game. Phil is very dedicated to the support of 14. I truly appreciate his efforts. I hope one day Phil and I can stand shoulder to shoulder and create an opportunity for gamers around the world to enjoy 14 even more. I will say to that, I don't recall Phil Spencer saying specifically Xbox One. He did say to Xbox, but I feel like it was a generic statement saying he was going to bring it to the platform. I think we're at this stage that people are looking at PS5 and whatever the new Xbox is going to be, because we're talking about teraflops a lot. So I don't really see them putting it on Xbox One as a major priority. I do see them go and look, we got a little time before whatever the next one goes. I don't think 14's going anywhere in the next couple of years. So whenever the new consoles do release in a couple of years from now, whenever it plans on happening, I think you can probably expect 14 to be on whatever the new Xbox machine is.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I don't really think we'll see anything. So, and they do talk about that in the next one about next-gen consoles. There's not much they can speak on now, but, it'll happen. It'll happen. Okay, I'm going to move on from that because there's not so much more there. We've got a US Gamer interview. Did you see anything in there?
This one's a wall of text.
Oh, shit. We ain't reading that thing. Plus, they make me turn off my ad blocker.
There's a lot of words here. Yeah.
Pick one.
It's kind of written for people who don't play, I think.
Oh,
so I don't really know.
That's me.
That's how it looks like to me.
Yeah, I am seeing a lot in here, like it's very telling the story. This is more a narrative. I'm not seeing as much question and answer. This is more like who it is. I'm sure this guy is great, Mr. Mike Williams here. I'm sure he's a great journalist here. But I think it is just kind of telling the narrative of what 14 is about, and then using some quotes from the interview to kind of back up, like, hey, here's what 14 is. So.
Well, and the whole Blizzard quote is just one thing. When asked what other creators he'd like to work with on Final Fantasy XIV, Yoshida surprises, reaching far beyond the confines of Square Enix. There are many people that I look up to, but personally I would love to work with the people at Blizzard Entertainment. Mm-hmm. That's the entire...
Yeah. This was a tweet buzz a couple of weeks ago, or maybe last week, where, Yoshida had said this, and everybody's like, oh, crossover with World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Ain't gonna happen, but, Gematsu. Anything in this one?
They talk about patch 5.1 and the shift in how Ninja plays.
Okay.
And they're talking about Paladin is the only one job left to generate oath from auto attacks, and is there going to be a change to Paladin in the future? And Yoshi says they don't have any plans at this time.
Okay.
Let's see. Eden's versus callbacks to Final Fantasy VIII. How much of an involvement did Satsuya Nomura have in the story for the Eden raid? So far, they've only asked for character designs this time around. So that's how much he's actually been involved.
I do like it. His design work for the content is still ongoing, so please look forward to future developments. I love Final Fantasy VIII. I don't think we'll ever see a remake of it like we have for 7. It was not as popular as 7, but I do love the 8 content, so the more the merrier.
Apparently, the questioner must play Paladin and does not think it's as strong as the other two. I primarily play the tank role, specifically Gunbreaker and Paladin. Paladin has, in my opinion, been a job that lacks a lot in the self-mitigation department for cooldowns compared to its tank brethren. Is there any chance they're going to see addition to their self-mitigation or a change to Divine Veil or something like that? Yoshi P says currently the tank role is becoming progressively more equalized, but at the same time they want each job to have its own identity. So if you make them even more equal, they won't have any differences at all, basically.
Well, that's good for him to say. I do appreciate that sentiment.
I don't find tanks hard to heal. I don't find paladins hard to heal, so I don't know.
Well, I think we've talked about this before, but to me, and of all the research and data we've looked at, I think the tanks are all in a pretty equal place across the board. Yes, there will be some warrior that says, well, I wish I could do this better. Or the Gunbreaker going, why does my cooldown for whatever change? There's small little stuff, but overall, I think they balance the tanks really well. It really has come to, you guys have got the tanks in a decent spot. There's not like major breakout arguments over what tank to bring into content. focus on the healers. Get the healers where you want them to be by the end of the 5.x thing so we can get another healer out there, balance the healer stuff out there, and then let's focus on the range jobs. Let's get the range where they want to. And then, really, honestly, you got to do something between Scholar and Summoner. I think that is a point of contention that is going to help with the balancing of the healers, is doing something with Scholar that's completely separate from the way Summoner is, and really breaking those jobs. I really think they've got to figure out a way to break those two jobs from each other. Anyway, yeah, those are the things I would like them to focus more on. And it seems like Yoshida maybe not agrees with what our suggestions are, but that the tanks aren't going to be screwed with anymore in 5.x.
All right, looking back, what you've done so far, what are you most proud of in the game? What fight, character, story, idea, or item comes to mind? Yoshi P says he doesn't see there's much value in being the most something, blah, blah, blah. But apparently he's proud of ocean fishing. Warriors of Light from around the world are enjoying it. And the other one would be Domin Mahjong. Okay. Oh, let's see. Oh, they're asking about Eden has some interesting redesigns on the primals. Of the 6 primals of the elements, which is your favorite to redesign? And Mogi says Titan from a design perspective. The battle content was quite hard. When he has his armor on, you can see they've paid homage to Titan from Final Fantasy VIII. And once he removes it, he looks like Titan from Greek mythology. So that's cool.
Yeah. Oh, I like how they wanted to throw in a Minecraft-style Titan using elements from Temple of Karn. That would have been interesting. Cool. Throwing blocks at you or something. That'd be interesting. I like this next question too, asking about Sapphire Weapon. Mm-hmm. How would you make the look of Sapphire Weapon and see it from a visual and gameplay standpoint? Mogi, if I were to make Sapphire Weapon, I'd probably start by pondering if I can repurpose the skeletal structure of the existing model. Laughs. The Ruby Weapon does pay homage to the original design, so if we were to create a design for Sapphire, I would like for it to be similar to the original as well. So I guess we do have a little bit of 7 remake going on in our game, since we have these weapon fights here.
All right, and then he's asked if there's anything they'd like to say to the fans of the game in the West. Yoshida says they're truly sorry the business trip had to be canceled because of the coronavirus. But the whole world's fighting against that right now, so they wanted to protect themselves. Mogi says they're continuing production efforts. The novel coronavirus causing many issues, and there's many players who are placed in an uncertain situation. That hopes that you can find some comfort in the world of Final Fantasy XIV, and all the designers will work very hard on making this an even more appealing game. So please keep your spirits up and stay tuned for further updates. Alrighty. Alright, and then the PAX one we already covered, so that is it. We do have some big news. It is the letter from the producer live part something 3, 8.
58.
58. I honestly only read what somebody put in our Discord. I was not awake at that time.
Well, I wasn't either, but a big thank you to Bell Dandy for posting the stuff in our Discord, because that's exactly what I woke up to. I took a look at that while doing my morning activities, and I am very excited to talk about this stuff, but I'm also coming from it like you with a little bit of a fresh eyes, because I haven't read or dug into every single thing that was in here. There were some points of excitement that I read, like the relic stuff that's coming. I'm always excited for new music, and where the story is going, I'm excited about. And then there's some really exciting 2.0 news I felt like was what to me stole the show when I was reading through the notes. So I'm ready to jump in. I think we've got a summary from our great friends over at Nova Crystallis. They always do an excellent job summarizing the stuff. So thanks to Tony Garsow on the compilation here. So Yelta, away we go. I'm excited.
All right. The first thing they talk about, it looks like, was the COVID-19 impact on development, and we've kind of already covered that, but it's behind. It's going to be behind. The conservative estimate is week or two, but they don't rule out a delay of a month. They're going to do their best they can, but updates will be coming. So, but 5.3 content and features.
Well, I want to say something before we move on. For those that did watch the broadcast, Yoshida and Foxconn were not in the same building. Of course, they were doing the from home sort of separate studio kind of thing. But I think they started with Yoshida and then they panned over and there was a big fat chocobo sitting next to him instead of Foxclaw. So they are social distancing. They are taking care of it, and they are thinking of us during COVID-19. Of course, we had the stop to the housing demolition and things. So I guess they're just really saying, please be mindful that things are going to be a little slower as we roll forward. All right, patch 5.3. I'm excited.
Well, it's important that they're clear on it because this team has been like clockwork. The releases have been, even when we guess based on the history of a release schedule, we're usually right on for the most part, So, a delay, they got to mention so no one's surprised. All right, patch 5.3 contents and features. The title of the patch is Reflections in Crystal, and it's going to be the conclusion to the Shadowbringers story, which sounds funny, but after replaying some of these, it's like for the first three major patches after an expansion kind of wraps up the story, and then like the next two patches are all about what's happening next.
Yep.
So it's just they're consistent.
And consistently 5.3 we've had good content, but 5.3 usually the 0.3 ones are really good content, and usually the 0.4 ones are really good content. So we're kind of coming into the good lore, the good story stuff, the oh my god, that happened sort of thing, and the setup for the new, and then we're going to start seeing a lot of good quality of life start coming out. So this is a good time to be in a expansion cycle.
For sure. All right, this one's exciting, guys. Changes to the main scenario quests. A Realm Reborn will now require completion of the Crystal Tower Alliance Raid series and the quest My Little Chocobo. The requirements to the Crystal Tower series have been eased, and Yoshida comments, now is a great time to play it if you haven't yet. I just unlocked the Labyrinth of the Ancients on my alt.
Yeah.
Gone is looking for any of those fates. You basically go talk to a few people, and you get the things to unlock the gates or whatever, and you're in.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, it's pretty great. I like unlocking stuff. That one was a bit much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And a big issue is the Crystal Tower story, at least now, starting with 5.0, is a major plot point of the entire Final Fantasy XIV story. You got to have it in there. Now, for us old schoolers, it was side story. Of course, you did it because it was the thing to do. You wanted to raid, and it's good story for a side story, especially being the first one. The 24-man raid. It's good content. It looks beautiful. It still does. But to put this into this 2.0 story, but also make the 2.0, especially that 2.0 to 2.5 stretch, to make that shorter, how do you do that? You're trying to roll that into it and reduce the 2.0 story. So, and as we get into the 2.0 stuff here in a little bit, they've done some major strides to make that work. And I'm glad that they finally incorporated this as part of the main story. Mm-hmm.
All right, and you also have to unlock your chocobo.
Mm-hmm.
So
for reasons.
For reasons. We're getting a new leveled 80 dungeon, the Heroes Gauntlet, and you can do that with the trust system. The new beast tribe is the Dwarves, and they will focus on crafting quests. Okay. The Sorrow of World quest continues, and the story focused with an instanced encounter. There will not be a trial this installment. Mm-hmm. They are adding a new trial. Oh, go ahead.
No, you're leading right into it. I think there was some confusion on this one that there's not going to be a trial, but there is going to be a trial. It's just not connected directly with the Sorrow of Werlin.
Yeah, this one has something to do. This is the final trial of the Shadowbringers story, and there's going to be an extreme version. So I'm voting Asians.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
The new Alliance raid dungeon is the Puppets Bunker. Will be added for Yorha Dark Apocalypse Chapter 2. So that sounds interesting. Job adjustment information. The next live letter is going to contain some job adjustment information. Daily challenge frontline. They're now going to make it so all of the frontline campaigns, because right now it's like one a day,
it's
right?
just the one. Well, yeah, you just get the one new one, the Dashag, whatever.
Okay, the new one is just that one's just the new one.
Yeah, I like it, but yeah, it gets burnt out, and I've heard many people say, "Can we get the other ones back?"
Yeah, that is all I've gotten every time I've queued up. I guess.
Right.
I never really even thought about it. The Resistance Weapon Quest update will include the first step in upgrading your Resistance weapon. It will include a new large-scale instance called the Boden Southern Front. Like the Eureka series, 100 players will enter the instance, but the content will be different this time. There will be 2 different ways to upgrade your weapon. Either way, the story will be mandatory. And that timing for that is 5.35, so that's not actually part of 5.3. It's after.
Right. So our relics usually on the .x5,
Mm-hmm.
so that seems right. When it says like Eureka but different, what do you think that means?
Well, it's going to be an instance.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming it's going to be. I'm hoping. Let's see. I think it's going to be a zone, but I don't know. I don't know what that means. Is it not going to be elementals? Is it not going to be a separate leveling?
Uh-huh. I think you're there. In my mind, I see something like Normandy. I see some sort of like we're on this front and we're storming in and we're trying to like take these like little areas, or we're encroaching into some sort of area. I still think we'll have that fog of war, but I don't think we're going to have the element stuff the same way. I just don't see that. I feel like the elemental wheel.
I feel like they used that already. I think we're ready for.
I don't think it had as much impact as they had hoped. I think they looked at it as like, we're going to bring elements back. Maybe this was our hope. We're going to bring elements back. We're going to make it seem like you've got some sort of contribution where like maybe you don't do as much damage, but you got to swap it. But it was more clunky than it was actually restrictive. Like, it didn't seem like you could do anything off of somebody else. Like, it'd have been nice that if you were spec to fire and somebody else in your party was spec to a different element, you could combine. But it was never like that. It was just basically turn your wheel as quickly as possible to attack the opposite to use the opposite element of the mob you're attacking. And it just seemed just a clunky thing. It didn't feel like it actually had strategy.
Really got annoying if you weren't just farming one kind of mob.
Right.
When
you had a tank
irritating.
that decided he was just going to pull everything under the sun, you were constantly having to swap to do. It was just an annoying, clunky feature that just didn't feel strategic. I would like them to either lose that or create something else that has more strategy to it. But what it sounds to me, and maybe this is where I read somebody else's input on it, but like if you go straight into the to the Pyros type stuff, like start us off with the Logos actions right then and there.
Logos are at least interesting.
And build off of that. Get rid of the elemental wheel, but start us off with logo. You can add something different than elemental, and maybe it'll be effective. And then give us something meaningful, like we need to hold a location. It's a front, right? We're supposed to be taking back over land. Let us hold a section, that maybe the fates get stronger each time, and that if you don't have enough players in the zone, that those fates will reset if you lose the fate, but you get higher bonuses if you max it out. I don't mind seeing people get mad and saying, you bunch of dum-dums, why weren't you helping with this fate, whatever else. I don't mind seeing that stuff in the chat. I don't call people dum-dums, I guess. But yeah, that's how I envision it. I see us coming from the southern shore, going up. We have to stick your standard down in a spot. A series of 3 to 5 different fates appear that are stronger in difficulty each time, and then you've got your random mobs. It still is going to be the fate grind to get your levels up. It's still going to be that Eureka leveling up process. You're still going to have, kill 10 of this type to get a bonus in your where they added that shit into the bonuses. You know what I'm talking about, Yelta?
Yep.
Anyway, that's my vision for the thing. I don't want to see people getting frustrated like I did with a Pagos type situation that you had to tiptoe past sleeping dragons and people weren't as helpful as you wanted, or if you skipped it for a few weeks, you were way behind, and then by the time the next one came out, forget it. And you still may see that. By the time the next one comes out, forget it. But maybe with the lack of the elemental stuff, maybe there's some ease and catch up. I don't know. That's how I see it, and I hope it'll be successful.
I hope it's fun at least.
Fun,
I mean,
yeah, that's successful to me. Fun.
I still go into Eureka once in a while. I got a whole link shell that does it, and it's usually maxed out level people just going in and farming stuff for the monies. Mm-hmm. All right, Crafter and Gather updates is going to include trial synthesis, where you can try a recipe without having the ingredients, and the ability to search for recipes using the ingredients in your inventory. I like the idea. They gave us like fake crafting mats, and you could like see if your rotation worked or whatever. Mm-hmm. I know that there are some mats I've been holding on to because I don't know if I can make it. I'm not a very good crafter, so being able to like practice it doesn't sound like a bad idea to me. See if Of course, there's some RNG and some luck involved, but you could tell if you should just not even bother. And then the idea that you can maybe right-click on an ingredient and see what recipes use it, that's cool. And then they're going to add a new custom delivery client. Changes to the collectible system include a set list of items will be applicable for turn-in. I wonder if they mean that versus it resetting during the week or whatever, or day even. Well, that's frustrated a lot of people. They go out and gather their 6 whatevers, come back, and it's like, oh, it's changed.
Yep.
For the collectible turn-ins. And then it says, like custom deliveries, crafted gathered items will be used only for collectibles. So, okay. Ishgard Restoration is going to enter its 3rd phase. The Skybuilder rankings will reopen, and new items will count towards your Skyward score. I have logged in and done the fates when they pop. Usually I see a novice network and I switch over to my other character. Skysteel tools will have further enhancements available. I've got a couple Skysteel tools. This next one's interesting. A party of players will be able to join another party via the party finder. So the ability to combine 2 parties.
I like it.
Yeah.
There's been those times where we're trying to get a group together and we're like, everybody disband and join this guy's one quickly.
Yeah.
They got 3 slots available.
And they're like, poor Dario gets left out, and it's like, oh, I guess. Mm-hmm. I can't remember who that happened to recently, because it was me and Raven and Kohede and one of the guys. I can't remember now, but we're like up in the party finder, and then we're like, oh no, this one has the exact slots needed for us, and then we'd like disband, and someone wasn't paying attention, or somebody else swooped in and got the spot before someone clicked yes or whatever. It would be nice to be able to merge them more easily. Also, the option to require 1 player per job will be added to the party finder, so you can't just type no dupes. Is that what it is? So you just click a box that says no dupes. Players will be able to use the world visit system while in a cross-world party. This is useful for hunt trains. Yeah, I have run into that where I'm in a cross-world party. I want to change servers. New chapters added to New Game Plus. I still haven't tried New Game Plus.
Same.
New token exchange vendors will be added to major cities. And a new menu for parasols will be added. All right. What do we got for our artwork? Oh.
Yeah, there's hopefully some cool stuff here. So we've got, we see all our guys in hoods. I'm sure that's the next cutscene. Who's the defector from each side? There's only 13 on each side. Who's that 14th person? Battlefield. This Evangelion looking sumbitch. Yeah, that's pretty freaky looking. So the next shot of the big wheel in the ground, of course, that's your
that's
your
gotta be Yorha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I still need to do my B playthrough. So maybe I'll do that before 5.3.
This next one must be Dwarf Beast Tribe, I bet.
Yeah, cutie. I still need my frog suit, Yelta. Can you believe that?
Oh. You should get in on that.
I know.
And apparently it's time again to return to the walking sands.
Oh my god.
Some of these people are dead. This is an old screenshot.
What was I reading that was talking about Scions recently? It was something about, like, they were glad that Yelta and Papalimo were gone, but...
Oh, no!
I don't know. It's terrible.
It's terrible. All right, then we have the Realm Reborn revamp.
Ooh, big
They're going to
news.
streamline the main scenario quests between 2.0 and 2.5. They've pruned 13% of the quests. Some of them are important because they involve characters that come into play later. So instead they change the quests so they can just be done faster.
Okay.
Additional experience points have been added to quests, ensuring a smooth journey for new players progressing to Heavensward. You'll meet or exceed level 50 at the end of the 2.0 story. As previously noted, the Crystal Tower and My Little Chocobo quests will be necessary to progress through the main scenario. I have to say, after just playing through on an alt, I only ran into, was it level 49 and I had to be level 50. I didn't level any other. I didn't do, pretty much it was just the storyline XP. Plus I did... like what guild hests you have to do to get through, and I did my hunt logs.
Interesting.
That's it. And I was over leveled pretty much the entire time.
And this just tells me you will definitely 100% be over 50 by the time. So if you had this little XP gain, you'll have less quests, but of course they'll pump you with the comparable XP plus some, it sounds like. Yeah, you would have easily been 50 or higher by the time you got through. That's 50 to 51, like 60 to 61 and 70, 71, etc. They're all a longer stretch, right? They feel longer. So I can see giving you an overabundance of XP and still being like maybe not quite 51 yet, but once you stroll into the gates of Ishgard, you'd be probably pretty damn close to 51.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. All right, flying mounts will be compatible with a Realm Reborn zones.
Oh.
You'll first need to complete the main scenario quest, the Ultimate Weapon. Chocobo companions will also gain the ability to fly at this point. The quest, I Believe I Can Fly, has been removed. Mounts cannot enter bodies of water. Due to these changes, players will no longer be able to climb certain scenery. So that it looks like they put in invisible walls.
Yeah, I don't recall, Yelta, if we talked about this before. I know it was a buzz about a month back, maybe not even that long, but we may have mentioned on the episode that they were putting in those barriers to the skyboxes were put into.
Yeah, people had triggered the skybox barriers, and so we thought it was coming. We hoped it was coming. So
this is so great.
It should make travel. I do like that it's not till you've done the ultimate weapon.
Right.
I feel like it's actually a good thing to experience the game on the ground first.
Yeah, and 2.0 areas they're small enough. Like the whole point is you're supposed to be on the ground. That's what gives you the length of the game. It's the time sink part, right? You got to run around from point A to point B. So to give it to you after the fact is great. I wonder if this trivializes anything as far as gathering goes. But then again, there's probably not as much gathering going on in these 2.0 zones. I'm sure there's some little recipe, maybe cinnamon or raisins or something like that is required for some stuff. This should make some achievements easier to get, some of those old 2.0 achievements. And my God, how fast will it be to get around places like Mordona or Coerthas, Western Highlands? Like that'll be so wild, but fun. Hunts will be something else. Maybe it'll bring some livelihood to some of these old hunts. I don't know. I think it's a great change overall. And we're so far along that, even old crotchety people like Yelta and I'm having trouble.
We can't even begrudge the adding flying to the.
I'm having
zones.
trouble yelling at this cloud over it. It's just
I can't even shake my walker at it.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah. All right. This next one, Unreal Trials and Fake Hollows. Unreal Trials are a new trial difficulty. Battle Primals sync to level 80. The first trial to be added is the Shiva's Amphitheater. One trial will be added per patch for a limited time. Complete Unreal Trials to earn the chance to play in the minigame. Fall Hollows minigame once per week with unique rewards. And this little dude is over by Chloe. The teams didn't simply increase the HP and damage, but did adjust each fight for level 80. I like the idea of new level 80 battle content. I just don't know if we really needed another version of each Primal.
I know. Like
that's really my only feedback was.
Will it have new visuals? I'm not talking about completely new models. I'm not talking about Shiva to Eden Shiva. Just Can you make Shiva green? Can you make the battle arena like different lights or something else like that?
Is it going to have different music?
Something like that, different music, different lighting.
Is the dance going to be different at all?
I have a feeling the dance will be different.
Dance will be different.
Or that it'll be the same attacks but in different orders. So yeah, a little different to the dance. Of course, a little higher difficulty. It's fun to go back into those, but so what do they say in these prizes? One trial be awarded professional, earn the chance to play the Fall Hollows minigame once per week with unique reward. And then they get a picture of this weird-faced fox that looks like it was put through a Photoshop
fox
generator or something.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Something
getting
exploded his head.
Yeah, I'm getting almost the Animal Crossing fake.
I know, right?
Fake art deal things. Like, are we buying fake art? Fake hollows? Like, what is this? I don't know. They're gonna have to give us more before I can make an opinion. This fox looks weird, though. My Senna has a funny picture on her Facebook that she used something that made one of her eyes look really long, and then her chin looks really long, and it looks like this fox. It's really strange. It's really weird.
So we'll have to see what that is. Then they had some announcements. We've already covered most of these. The free login campaign is underway till May 17th. In Japan, the game is currently 30% off through May 7th. In North America, we've got some discounts. The Shadowbringers and Complete Edition are 40% off through April 29th. Europe has 50% off through April 29th. Wow. Episodes of the creation of Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers behind-the-scenes series are available to watch. This is a link to YouTube. A bonus episode detailing the creation of the Yorha Dark Apocalypse raid will be released on April 30th. Yoshida wearing the Primals jacket and shirt will be available in the e-store at some point.
Okay. Yoko Taro's ass with a hand puppet in this picture. Oh,
yeah.
My God. I think it's crazy.
My goodness.
I am excited for the new Nier stuff. I think that's going to be great when we get it. I am going to probably put some more time into Nier. Again, I was telling Yelta at the beginning of the episode, I just got finished with Dragon Quest. I don't know if I can play another JRPG, but if I've got at least another month, at least. I mean, we got till June, right? And it's supposed to be June, but it might roll closer to July. There's plenty of time to play another JRPG, get a couple of playthroughs through Nier Automata and get caught up on that story before we get to the next section. So, all good stuff. But we got lots of time, Yelta, is what it sounds like. We've just got
it sounds like it.
A lot of time to do Sky Steel, to do... well, there's not much to do with Relic. I mean, maybe you could get every job's base Relic. Work on your gear with the new EX. And yeah, just kind of in chill mode and see. We're just going to wait and see what that next live letter will bring, and if they're going to throw us some itinerant Moogles or what else they might dish out at us to keep us busy between now and 5.3.
Yeah, that would be really cool if they could give us something easy, something that could just flip the switch. So we'll see what happens. I guess that's it then. That's all she wrote. Yeah,
that was good. There was a lot of information. I thought they gave us with what little is left of this 5.2X cycle. I thought it was a good deal of information. So I'm pretty happy with what came out. And I think it was, for me, it's the 2.0 stuff. I think a lot of people were wanting the 2.0 things. In fact, I can't wait to fly in the 2.0 zones. I think that's going to be a blast.
For sure. Yep. I think it's time. It's time for us to be able to do that, and that's pretty cool. All right, then it's also time to close. It is closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. You can find links to all of our episodes and blog posts on our website, www.gtffxiv.com. While you're there, please leave us a comment. If you'd like to, you can support us by clicking the donation button. You can find us on Twitter at GTFFXIV. You can email us at gtffxiv@gmail.com. Please rate us. Personal plugs, Ruby.
Yes, you can find me on Twitter at RubiconVale, RubiconVale.
And you can find me on Twitter at Yeltasumasu, YELTASUMASU. As always, thanks for listening, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.